What's up, guys? Today I'm going to do a casual video on another interesting discussion slash question slash controversial topic, and this is the fact of whether or not good-looking people, like very top of the line good-looking people of either gender, get high paying positions in life or just have very successful positions in life because of their looks. Like, is this something that all or most good looking people just naturally have, just out of luck, or just, you know, they just stumble across it somehow because of their looks? Now, first off, there's been a lot of tests done, and sure, good looking people do get treated better. Like, there's recently, well, not recently, but there's a thing done by Nightline, and basically they went out and there's like two groups of both genders, one very good looking, one not so good looking. They hired like models, and you can imagine what happened. There's a bunch of tasks, and clearly the good looking people were always helped out much more when they drop stuff, when they drop papers, when they ask for directions, and so forth. And if you go on like Reddit or you read articles online, it's very clear that they get a lot of free, like, we're talking top, highest echelon in terms of good looking. Like, not someone in above average may not get this, but especially for the girls, they get gifts, they get cuts and lines. Apparently, like, there's stuff where they would forget their wallet, and then the cashiers would be like, "Oh, you don't have to pay for it, just take it." And first off, I find this bizarre, because if you're running a real business, ain't no way, no matter how good looking you are, you're just gonna walk off with a $1,000 dress. But who knows? That stuff does happen. Maybe it wasn't a $1,000 dress. You get the point, though. And they get these sort of stuff. However, here's my opinions on topics, and this is just my theory, but I think it's fairly true. Good-looking people, it does not guarantee them. I was going to say much, but it does guarantee them some in real life. That, like, you can't just deny that. But overall, looks can only get you so far. How? Because look at the most successful people in life. They're not that great looking. And I could just end the video right there. There's, like, you can't argue with that. A lot, I was going to say most, but a lot of people fairly successful in life, or very successful, are not some, you know, beautiful, handsome prince. And this is very common sense to a lot of people. Like, I really feel like this, hopefully this doesn't come into some controversial debate in the comments or something like that, but it's very obvious. You know, looks aren't everything. There's intellect, there's personality, and I can go on and on. However, is it not true that good-looking people get some sort of edge? Yes, but here's the thing. I feel like because they get these edges in life, they get these, you know, things that they really didn't deserve. Like, they didn't hustle to get these gifts or these favors or these, you know, casting calls or certain events. Some of them, not all of them, you know, some of them fall into that lazy pattern where they just take it for granted and they don't hustle in life, and that therefore they don't get as far. They don't get as much knowledge. They don't, you know, develop their personality or intellect. Again, I don't want to stereotype, but some good-looking people have, you know, very, I don't want to sound rude, but their personalities are fairly dull. They're like, it's like talking to a brick wall. Not always, though. Not always. In fact, in my, you know, honest opinion, in my more angelic opinion, I believe everyone in this world, in some way or other, has a great personality around a certain group of people in a certain comfortable setting in a certain mood. Now that sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of true. Like the most boring people, like they're probably pretty darn funny or interesting to some group, like whether it's just their mom or dad or their family. It's that one comfortable area where they can let loose and just be themselves without anything holding them back. And even, yes, those good-looking people who are, you know, somewhat dull, like if you put them in their most comfortable setting, whether it's with their girlfriends or when they're drunk, like they'll probably just let loose and they'll have this crazy personality that may not be for you, like, but that's there. And so just to wrap this whole thing up, good looks can only get you so far. There's this great video by Elliot Chang. He's a comedian on YouTube, and he did a video on this topic as well, and I feel like it just wraps it up. I'm just gonna go ahead and plug his channel for free. Not that he needs it. Well, he may. He doesn't have that big a following. But basically, he lists a bunch of things about good-looking girls, not just guys or both genders, but girls in general. But I feel like some of the things apply to both genders. Basically, looks will fade over time, and a lot of good-looking people who, for whatever reason, ended up depending a lot on their looks, secretly they all realize this, and it's kind of sad because, you know, the people who have developed, who understand this, they're either trying to either ride it out, or they're trying to find outlets in which they don't depend on their looks. And then another point he made was that men are like wine. They get better with age, whereas women, not so much, because some of them, not all of them, depend on their looks. The ones that don't, you know, they're like wine as well. And because, like, if your intellect is there until you get old, and then you get Alzheimer's and you lose your intellect as well. But generally, you know, you have more years if you know, improve the skills you have that can make you money or do whatever with your mind and your brain rather than your looks. And again, it all comes back together. That's why the most successful people in the world, even in the superficial fields like modeling, which is a quite looks intensive superficial field, or the entertainment industry, when you bring it down to the details, the highest earners, like the top supermodels or the top entertainers, they are very business savvy, and they're usually not the best looking. Like, just look at the supermodels. The best supermodels who have made the most money are definitely not, in my opinion, the most attractive models out there. They're the ones who are the most business savvy and know how to create a business empire and have the most street smarts. Like, it's just true. Like, I would say, like, in my opinion, there's been a lot of girls who I've seen who are much beautifuler than a lot of models, but who don't model or have tried modeling and haven't gotten far. And no, I haven't met these girls in person, but, you know, you see it online, you see it, you know, in real life. Well, okay, not in real life, but on TV and so forth. And you get the point, okay? And I just want to wrap this whole video up with another huge point about good looks and so forth. It can become annoying also, but again, it's one of those things, like, it's one of those cons that I wouldn't care about dealing with. I'd rather be good looking and constantly annoyed and hit on rather than butt ugly and not. But another thing is that a lot of the girls who are very good looking and have ended up, you know, spending a lot of their livelihood on using their looks to obtain stuff, like they are kind of screwed in a lot of other ways because their income is inconsistent in the fact that oftentimes it will come sporadically through God knows what, modeling or whatever other thing in the entertainment industry. It very much is like this. But more so than that, this is something I found very surprising that a lot of people didn't know. But a lot of these girls, they'll have these Twitters and they'll post their Amazon wish list on their description, and there's all these like